Sometimes things happen that shatter your trust, that shatter your entire world. And one moment life feels stable, and then the next, like your whole world is blown apart. You're drowning in the shock, the confusion, the pain. And betrayal, whether it's from infidelity or deep deception, it's not just heartbreak, like it's trauma. In this episode, we're going to walk you through 7 simple but powerful steps to protect your mental health in that moment of discovery, help you stay grounded in that moment.
Today is not actually about healing your relationship or fixing your relationship, although we do help couples do that, but it's really just for that moment, like Verlinda says, or the moments that are immediately after discovery or disclosure of infidelity or some other kind of significant, we'll say intimate partner betrayal.
Okay.
That's what this is for. It's just that initial period where your world is just blown apart.
And how can we regain like that sense of safety?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're feeling lost, like this is your lifeline. Listen in, like hold space for your pain, because the pain is huge. The pain is real.
Yeah.
And just begin with one small act of self-care, because healing starts here.
Okay, so let's talk about that initial moment for Linda when it's just kind of first discovered. And the goal here is just to kind of normalize feelings, so that because most people have never witnessed firsthand someone else go through betrayal in those initial moments. So this is like it's a baptism of fire. It's sudden, it's drastic. And what's normal?
Oh.
Or what could be normal? Because everybody's going to have a little bit different, but what's a lot of common experiences in those first moments and days after?
Shock, numb, pain, tears, anger, disbelief, self-blame, partner blame.
Rage,
yes.
panic,
Even the desire to retaliate.
yes. So those are a lot of like key major emotions. And I was going to say they're initial, but they can last for quite some time, especially rage, for example, or grief or that kind of thing.
But they're initiated.
They're initiated in this phase.
Yeah.
So that's great to really understand, to acknowledge that. But let's go like below this one more level for our listeners too, to think about what about like the existential crisis, like the whole, that moment. Maybe I can just sort of start this and you can help me unpack it. But just think about that moment when trust is shattered. Because there's not only like all these things going on, but when you have an experience like infidelity that is so profound, you also have the core of your world being shaken.
Yes.
So you were living life on a set of assumptions and beliefs that have been now completely upended. And there's often a feeling that comes with that of, am I a total fool?
Yes.
How did I not see this coming? And that kind of stuff. But it's important to understand that all of us in life, we have to live as if the people around us are generally trustworthy. I mean, if you lived with your partner every day prior to the disclosure, or just imagine someone in a marriage where there is no infidelity, if they lived with their partner as if there was infidelity about to be discovered every day, what would that marriage be like? Right? Like doubt, the question, I'm always looking at your phone, I'm always checking where you are. So that's not a healthy way to live. So it's actually more healthy to trust and to have that blown apart. I'm not saying
more
it's better.
Healthy. It's more painful too.
I'm not saying it's better.
Yeah.
It's more painful, but we have to live that way.
Yeah. Can I just come in here for a sec? You know, sometimes there's a niggle of doubt.
Yes.
Right? People wonder, but they choose to believe, or they choose not to believe that doubt.
Yeah.
And then there's a huge thing here of like, am I a fool? Like, how can I even trust myself now?
Yes.
Because I didn't notice it or I didn't act on what I was seeing.
Yeah. Again, like it's just, there's a thing called betrayal blindness that everybody experiences where we choose to believe the good that we see in others. And that's a good thing for us to do that for other people, to give other people that gift. But there's also, not only is there like betrayal blindness that happens, but the pain of the reality of infidelity is so great that your nervous system will help you choose the easier response of disregarding those little bits of conflicting evidence. Again, the problem with that is you can feel profoundly betrayed by your own body and nervous system and brain when you actually find out in an undeniable way that this has happened and that you've been betrayed. But I would just encourage folks in this place, and we do this when we're working with clients who have been through betrayal, to give themselves compassion for those moments. Because again, you have to live a certain way. And it's actually a good thing for you to want to believe and to see the good in others. That's a good way of functioning in this world. And the problem is that someone has exploited that.
Yes.
And taken advantage of that.
That's the problem.
That's
Your
the problem.
protection is not the problem.
So you can trust that goodness in yourself, recognize that you've been violated in this way, sit with all and process the emotions and the trauma of that violation, but not ever have to decide to put yourself in a place where you'll never trust anybody. Yeah, that would be our hope for you. You don't have to get there today.
No.
You don't have to get there today. You might start doubting everybody. You may be in an environment where you need to doubt a lot of people that you haven't doubted yet. I don't know. So I'm not telling you what to do. We don't want to go there, but just to validate, hey, it's normal to have this weird mix of feelings around this unthinkable moment when our world shatters. Yeah.
And just acknowledge that this is what's happening.
Yes.
This whole gamut of emotions, and that's okay. Yeah.
So now as we kind of get into this, for Linda, a little bit more on the initial impact, reactions, that kind of stuff, but we want to really impress too that we're not offering quick fixes here.
No.
But what we are doing is just lending you some clues that help you move towards immediate self-preservation so that you can take care of yourself in these moments.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about do you want to add to that or can we go on?
No, go on.
Let's talk about betrayal trauma.
Okay, what is it?
So betrayal trauma is the discovery of a betrayal where in many cases, not necessarily in all cases, some people go through betrayal without the trauma, not many, but many people experience symptoms very similar to PTSD. So Dr. Jennifer Freyd, I believe she credited the term or coined the term, deserves the credit for coining the term betrayal trauma. And it just highlights that there's an injury from trust violation by a dependent upon person.
Say that one more time, a little slower.
This highlights that there is injury from trust violation by a dependent upon person.
Okay. Yes, I depend on this person and they violated my trust.
Yeah. And that can cause betrayal trauma, which is a set of trauma symptoms because your world got shattered. I think this is important to understand because a lot of times when we think about trauma, we think about car accidents, we think about medical trauma,
military.
We think about military service and in battlefield moments and stuff like that. But there's actually also a term called post-infidelity stress disorder. And if you think about like car accidents and people who experience PTSD from military service, there's usually like the exposure to something life-threatening where like the world that you thought was safe is profoundly unsafe for a moment or for many moments. And that overwhelms the nervous system. And the body retreats to like fight, flight, freeze mode. And it's just so much on your body. Your nervous system is kind of like, oh, that's a lot. I'm going to encapsulate that and put that away. We'll have to figure that out later. I just need to like make sure we breathe right now. We beat our hearts right now. And we either fight back, we freeze, so hoping this thing will blow over us, or we flee, we get out of here. There's other reactions too, but those are kind of the main ones. Now, in betrayal trauma, or in the experience of betrayal, it's not your physical life that's in danger, but your life as you know it is shattered because you've been working off these assumptions that we're monogamous, we're committed, we're faithful, and you should be working off those assumptions.
And this person's trustworthy.
And maybe you've done that for decades, and then the discovery happens, and that whole thing is shattered. So even though it's not like a physical threat of death, like your life as you knew it takes a fatal blow.
Yeah, the safety that you thought you had is not there.
Yes. And this is why you can get trauma out of a relational moment.
Yeah. Yes.
Like the discovery of an affair.
Yeah, we kind of talked about common reactions, like emotional responses. But I'm wondering if we can go a little bit more into them.
Sure.
Because they're huge, right? Like there's the emotional overwhelm, the intensity of the anger, of the sadness, of the fear, of the confusion, of the jealousy. Like the emotions are so overwhelming in the moment. But then there's also like the cognitive array. Like my mind might be racing. I might have intrusive thoughts. I might like just ruminate over and over. I can't get it out of my head. My body's affected, like emotions, my mind, my body. I might feel nauseous. I might have headaches. Like the fatigue is so real.
And not be able to sleep.
not be able to sleep. Yeah. My appetite changes. I might not want to eat. I might stress eat. Like so much. What else is there?
Numbness and dissociation kind of stuff. So just feeling really detached from life, feeling like unreal. Like, is this really happening to me? I can't believe this.
Yeah.
Like pinch myself sort of moments. Not like the good pinch myself, but
Like is this real?
Almost like out of body times. And that's just your nervous system is like so overloaded that it's just like, hey, we need to take a step back here and just kind of breathe for a minute.
Breathe. Yeah. Or hypervigilance.
Yes. Super common to come in after this and especially accelerate during the next few months after betrayal too. Just define the term or give us examples over, Linda, for our audience.
So if I'm vigilant, I'm like watching out for something. But if I'm hypervigilant, I am all over it. I am looking at every single detail that happens and I'm analyzing it. And I'm trying to protect myself. Yeah. So if I know every single detail, I'm not going to be fooled again, or they're not going to hurt me again.
Yeah. And we've seen quite often betrayed partners do like forensic level examinations of email accounts, credit card statements.
Yes.
Checking your partner's whereabouts on like Find My with iPhone every like minute or two, or at least a number of times an hour.
Yeah.
So those are all examples of hypervigilance. It leaves you just in a state where you can't relax and it's your body scrambling to find data to tell you that you're safe now.
Yes.
I will say gently that it doesn't work.
It's not.
But it's a very
helpful.
understandable reaction. Yeah.
We talked about the loss of trust.
Yes.
We talked about self-blame.
Yeah, let's just say on loss of trust, though, like that it can extend to like wider, you don't trust any of the key men in your life or
if you've been hurt by a man.
Any of the women in your life.
Okay.
You wonder about your dad or your mom. You know,
right.
Your boss, your pastor, all of this stuff. Or you just hate men generally. Men can't be trusted.
Yeah.
Those are all common protective reactions after a shattering of trust like this.
Yeah. And yourself?
Yes. Can't trust myself. That's a very tough one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The attachment bond. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So in a decent average marriage, the person that you're married to is a source of safety for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And now they become a source of violence. Really, because they've broken something very sweet and precious between you. They've shattered it. And so that often puts like an injury on the bond that you have between you guys, that attachment bond. So safety becomes the person who could be a source of safety that you go to now becomes pain. And then what do you do now with your pain?
Because you can't take it to the person you've always depended on.
Yeah. So perhaps you've cultivated that with your partner.
Okay.
So that becomes there's a profound sense of isolation that can come out of a moment like this as well. And then on top of that, you get into the dilemma of, well, I can't tell the kids because I don't want the kids to hate their mom or hate their dad. And I can't tell his family and I can't tell my family because I know they're all just going to want to take him out behind the barn.
Yeah.
And it kind of cascades. So you begin to feel very, very isolated. So that's really hard.
Yeah. Like who can I talk to in this moment? Yeah.
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 Then the impact of like deception itself. So Dr. Minwala talks about the secret separate reality or the secret sexual basement that you discover in moments like these. And that discovery highlights the fact that there's been a prolonged deception in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rare that like an affair, it does happen. Sometimes an affair is like a one night thing on a business trip. Person gets home on Monday or the next day, immediately confesses. So sometimes it's not prolonged, but many times affairs last a number of months.
Okay.
Or could have ended years ago. And then all of a sudden, like there's this secret thing that has been happening that extends over a massive period of time. And that deception itself is traumatic. And really carrying deception like that in an intimate partner relationship is an act of violence. Because it's allowing your spouse to maintain an image of you that's not accurate, that's deceptive, it's not true.
So as the betrayer, I'm allowing you to carry this image of me. Okay.
Yeah. It's sort of like a malignant or a benign gaslighting, where I'm not deliberately trying to mislead you, but I've never told you the reality and I'm letting you think something different about me. And then when you discover it, it's like all of that time I've been hiding this from you.
Okay. So then what is my common reaction?
like common reactions is just, I just want to highlight, it's all the reactions, like all the emotions are tied to this too, but it's just that deception of like hiding this for so long and the meaning of that. That is so hard to grapple with.
Oh,
Like, this
so
was
like the
happening.
confusion of it in the moment when I discover this deception.
Yeah. This was,
It's just so unsettling.
yes. Like this was happening for 5 years or whatever the timeline
Mhm.
was, or 6 months. And questions come out of this like, did you guys talk about me? Did she know things about me that I didn't know about her?
Hmm.
And what does that mean? Like to have like that connection where there's like people watching on your life and someone who knows about you and it's not reciprocated. And all this is just like, wow.
Yeah, like the icky
It's
feeling.
rough.
Yeah.
It's hard, right? So there is deception as a traumatic agent too. So
Mhm.
that's a thing to consider here. And that takes some work to heal from it. That's a tough part of this process for sure.
Mhm. Like that's all so heavy. Like I'm feeling it even as we're
Yeah.
talking. So we said we'd give them 7 simple steps here.
Yep.
Can we move to something more positive?
Yeah. So these are all trauma-informed steps for you to consider as you come into this. A couple of them overlap a little bit, but I think they're all good to highlight on their own. So one thing that we like to do is immediately to invite a betrayed partner to prioritize their immediate safety, their physical safety. And the reason for doing this is you want to begin to work on calming this huge stress response that you're having to this situation. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be stressed. I'm just saying that taking steps towards safety, we need to give your body chances to just calm for a moment in the middle of all this, and then you can return to sorting it out when your body has had a chance to sort of rest a little bit or to rejuvenate itself.
So why do you need a place of safety? Why can't you just do that?
Well, quite often, like if you stay in it and you're just trying to sort it out all the time, like your cortisol levels and your stress levels are going to be through the roof, and your health is going to deteriorate very quickly. Your self-care is going to deteriorate very quickly. And you may feel that there's not any place where you can get away from this. And it's okay to find a place in your house. And often we recommend making like a bedroom your place or something like that, where perhaps your partner is not allowed to enter there, or perhaps even like evidence of them is removed from the room or something like that. So that's a place where you can just calm and you can breathe, you can nap. If you're, we have a lot of Christian clients that we work with, you can read and pray there or just meditate. So it's a place where you can retreat to and ground yourself if you feel unsafe.
Because we can't heal when the threat looks like it's still there
all the time. Yeah.
So we need that safe place to go and retreat and allow our bodies to calm.
Yes.
Okay.
And then that's sort of the physical part of this. But there's sort of the, I don't know if you want to call it like the relational part of this. Let's say that. And that is like, when this first comes out, there may be feelings of like a lot of pressure. And people around you, if you share it with them, they might even ask you, are you going to leave him or are you going to leave her? Or they're going to tell you should leave him, her. And you can create sort of a safe harbor for your relationship, because if you have a lot of shared history together, you've been married for a while and you have children, it's just not that simple as to, okay, there was a mistake made, drop the axe, we're done. And the pain will end within a month when the paperwork is completed, right? So you can actually create sort of a safe harbor for your relationship to buy yourself time to figure out, okay, how did we get here? Do we want to try to repair this thing? Is it repairable? Are we both willing to do the personal work, like for the betraying partner, to make sure they're safe again, etc.? And so just setting like a safe harbor around your relationship decision for 6 months can be helpful. It just says, here's a period of time where we're not going to worry about the big question of whether we're going to make this work or not. We're going to hold this marriage that exists between us, or this commitment if you're common law, and just see what we can work out, see about the personal work that we can do. And it just kind of takes the pressure off from that one huge decision that often feels like it's looming over them all. So prioritizing your immediate safety is both physical and emotional.
Yeah.
In that sense. Yeah.
So then once you're safe,
yeah,
like just taking that moment, like step 2 here, taking that moment to acknowledge your emotions, acknowledge what just happened. Like it's huge. This isn't something that you can sweep under the carpet and think, oh, I'm fine. I'll be fine.
So when you say acknowledge, just unpack that a little bit. Like, how can a person who's listening and in these moments acknowledge?
Admit it's happening. Admit
Yes.
it happened.
Yeah.
Um,
Like even just saying that to yourself.
yeah, like this happened and this is what I'm feeling about it. Like this is what's happening in my body. I'm angry. I'm like, you can even just state it.
Yes.
This is what's going on.
So, and we're talking about betrayal because we see a lot of different examples of betrayal. But just to be very concrete, like my husband was unfaithful to me and had an affair with another woman for 4 months.
Yeah.
That's stating it, that's
Yeah.
naming it.
Yeah. So like acknowledging that truth.
Yeah, the truth of what has happened here.
The truth of what has happened and then how it impacted me.
Yes.
My husband was unfaithful, had an affair with this woman for 4 months, and now I am angry. I hate him.
Yeah.
I am raging inside. I just want to retaliate. Just acknowledge what's going on. It's not like, oh, that's a bad thought. I can't think that.
No.
It's like, yeah, you know what? You're having that thought.
Yes. So acknowledging to yourself is good. Write it in a journal.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel safe and you enjoy and have appreciated that in the past, putting it down on paper helps to like get it out somewhere so it's not just in your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to a good friend
Mm-hmm.
is like a safe person. We'll talk a little bit more about connections later. But that's a way to name it and use the words.
Yes. Yes. And then do it without judgment.
Yes.
Or without blaming. Like it's just validating them.
On yourself is
on yourself.
What you mean. You're allowed to judge your partner at this stage for sure.
Oh, yeah. No, I guess I'm meaning like when I feel these emotions, like I am so angry. And I have some people who are like, I am so angry and I just want to hurt him. And then they feel so guilty.
Right.
But it's like, that's your body trying to protect itself. You don't actually have to carry it out.
You should not.
You should not. Oops. Yeah, you should not.
Yes.
Right? Because you don't want to retaliate. You don't want to hurt back, etc. I get that, even though you want to.
Yeah. But in the same sense, of course you feel that way.
Exactly.
You've had this, what you thought was a great marriage and this bond together. Of course you'd want to fight to protect that. So that response makes sense.
Yeah. Even if you've had a sucky marriage, but you still had the belief of fidelity in it.
Yes. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. So acknowledging the truth in your intense emotions, Verlinda, and then anchoring yourself. So let's just go over some simple grounding techniques.
Yeah.
So there has to be moments where you can invite your nervous system just to come down out of that fight, flight, freeze mode and just to feel your feet on the ground. If you can intersperse the moments of intensity that are inevitable where you're dealing with this, where you're dealing with your spouse, where you're facing those tough emotions and naming them like Verlinda said, with moments where you're grounded, it's super helpful at this initial stage to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Just brings you into the present, that I'm here in this moment right now. Again, regulates your nervous system. It gives you a little bit of power too, because I couldn't control that. This has happened to me. There's a lot of powerlessness there, but hey, I can take 5 minutes to breathe.
Yeah.
I can own this 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do a couple things here. I'll offer one, Verlinda.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is pretty common. And so that's just naming 5 things you can see around you. The chair, the camera, the flower, the microphone, so on. 4 things you can touch, and then you want to physically touch those things and really just have that sensory feeling in your fingertips to feel and really notice that. So clothing is good, arm of a chair, carpet, maybe you have something you like to hold, grab a rock out of the garden. 3 things that you can hear. So there's often a lot more noise in a room than what we pay attention to, but just stop and kind of catching the fridge or the furnace running or the neighbor mowing, that kind of stuff, or traffic outside. 2 things you can smell. So just trying to notice different things, maybe to be your clothing, the laundry, that kind of thing. And then 1 thing you can taste. If you don't have something to taste, you could chew gum, take a sip of water, but just noticing the taste and sensation of that, it's just really bringing you back into your body.
When trauma hits, it's like it's taking us back to something that's happened in the past.
Yep.
And grounding brings us back to this present moment. So that's why using your senses brings you back into the room.
Yeah.
Brings you back into your body, as we say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so do you box breathing? Do you want to just explain box
breathing? Yeah. Often people find box breathing helpful. It's like you breathe in for 4. So in, 2, 3, 4, and then you hold it for 4. then you breathe out for 4, and then you hold it for 4.
Seconds. Yeah.
4 seconds. There are 4 counts.
Yeah.
And if you are like in a panic and breathing really fast, or counting really fast, you might even want to go for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just keep going.
Excellent. Awesome.
I love the physical anchors.
Yeah.
Like feel your feet on the floor, feel the chair under your butt holding you up.
Yeah.
Like right here, you're safe in your chair. You're secure in your chair. What are your arms resting on?
Yeah.
Those are personally helpful for me.
Yeah, for sure.
In those moments.
Those are excellent as well. Okay, and then let's talk about support networks. So this one's a little trickier.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
But you do want in some way to activate a support system for you. You're going to need that during this time. It's too much for you to do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Having good support around you just provides people who can be comfort to you.
Yep.
For your distress. Validate those big feelings that we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Help you counteract self-blame.
Mm-hmm.
And also the feelings of isolation that come after an event like this.
Yeah.
So those are all really good reasons.
Yeah.
And again, like it's critical to have external validation of somebody else to say, of course you're mad.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you feel those things. And yet, for Linda, let's just talk about this for a moment. The thing that I most commonly run into here with betrayed partners is they want to protect the betrayer because in case they save the marriage, they don't want everybody in their social network to see their spouse as a cheater.
Yeah.
To use the language.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about how that works or it doesn't work. Like what's the challenges there?
Yeah. Okay. My mind was going on a different route before you came to this. This is more often the case though. Like I'm trying to protect my spouse.
Yeah.
But in so doing, I'm now carrying.
You're isolated.
I'm isolated. I'm carrying the responsibility of the marriage I'm carrying when it's their responsibility because they messed up so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And they hurt you so bad. And now it's like this extra thing. And I get it. Like I get the desire for protection.
Yeah. But there's also the way you consider that it might reflect on yourself. Like,
yes.
Well, people think I wasn't giving her enough sex or I wasn't emotionally available enough for her.
Yeah.
So you could be protecting yourself too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned before about protecting your kids.
Yeah. So
there's
so
much protection in here.
There's a whole topic about disclosing. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you can find like 1 or 2 people at least that you trust to be highly confidential and who will walk with you through your pain.
Yes. And walk with you through whatever decision you make.
Yes.
Whether you decide to save the marriage or whether you decide to leave the marriage.
Yes. You may consider whether the person you're thinking about talking to would be more of a friend of the marriage or more a friend of you. And I just say that in the sense of like, hopefully it's both.
Yes.
But if you choose someone whose own personal bent is towards like cutting off and not doing conflict, that may not be the person that will help you walk through saving your marriage.
Right.
Right. So there's a little bit of a nuance there, but basically you want someone who's confidential, who can validate your feelings, at least at a basic level. They don't have to be a therapist. Right. And who can just be available to you that you can show up and debrief with and talk to and process with. And they can just kind of hold up a mirror for you for what they're seeing you say and stuff like that. Yes.
Yeah. That safe person.
Yeah. And ideally say, I don't know what you're going to do with your marriage, but do we have to make that decision right now?
Yeah.
So they can just sit with you there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the sitting in it, it kind of takes us into the next point here about like create breathing room. Create breathing room for yourself. You talked about the safe harbor of like, I don't have to make this decision right now.
Yeah.
Give yourself 6 months to figure out if you're going to save it, if you want to save it, if you can trust.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just that the decisions that we make in trauma
are
not always the decisions that we would wish we had made
later
when we're calm and grounded.
Yeah. Like our judgment's clouded in these moments. It's kind of like the brain we talk about, right?
That's a tough one, the judgment clouding. Let's unpack that a little bit, because we also want to validate people in this spot.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is a combination of feeling really big things right now.
Yes. And when we're feeling these really big things,
Yeah.
our prefrontal cortex, our logical thinking brain kind of goes offline.
Yes.
When we're in this freeze, flight, fight mode. Like when our nervous system is so activated, we can't.
That's where I think
we don't have that rational thinking ability.
Right.
So I guess give yourself the space, give yourself the time to kind of allow that nervous system to relax.
Yes.
Doesn't mean you're going to go full-fledged into your marriage and trust them 100% again, but it's like creating that safety for yourself.
Yes.
And allowing yourself the time and the space to get the logical, rational thinking brain back online.
Yeah. Because you know what? And we're not assuming that the logical, rational thinking brain is going to tell a person to stay in this marriage.
No.
Because at this point, you may come to realize that this is sort of like the final touch point on a series of problems that existed for many, many years, where this marriage bond has been broken over and over and over by your partner, and your calm, grounded self is like, you gave this enough of a try.
Yeah.
They didn't, you did, and you don't have further obligations here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I guess we're just encouraging to like make that decision out of a place of groundedness.
Yes.
Rather than a place of like escalated.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I like where we landed there better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about anything more on that one, Verlinda?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. So one little tip on that, though, is just actually making a commitment to yourself. I'm not going to make any major irreversible decisions this week, or maybe this month. Like, I'm going to play this through. We're going to get through this initial storm that always comes at the start of a betrayal. And I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to manage my sort of immediate responsibilities. I'm going to see if my partner responds or gets into help or treatment or takes this seriously, or if they continue to lie and deceive me. So we need some time to watch the data.
Yes.
So that's okay to do that. Unless there's violence or other things associated with this and you're not physically safe, in which case safety takes priority.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
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 Okay. Basic self-care, Verlinda. This is something that I have to admit, even as a counselor, I forget to check a lot of times.
For yourself?
No,
over others.
Clients. Yeah.
Oh.
So I was really glad to have this be reminded of this. And that is just this is kind of like essential first aid for yourself, establishing your self-worth, reconnecting with your physical needs when you are feeling disconnected from your body, when you're not feeling as grounded, you're kind of checked out or all absorbed into this huge thing that's happened to you. Hydrate. Try hydration. Right?
Have a drink of water.
Stop. Get yourself a glass of water. Just pause. Notice it. Welcome it into your body. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Eating simple foods. Just try to get a little bit of nourishment into you, because again, you may not feel like eating, but can you get some crackers down? Go back to some comfort foods that are healthy, like chicken noodle soup, kind of some of the or whatever the classics are for you. And just do a little bit for yourself. Even if you don't, you certainly won't feel making a 4-course dinner for yourself, right?
No.
Do a little bit for yourself.
Unless that's somebody's stress response. Maybe they cook, right?
Yep.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe order a meal prep package for a few months, because you're going to have a lot going on sorting this out.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. If you're able. Yeah.
So eating, drinking, movement.
Yes.
And even gentle movement might be better. Sometimes we want to go out and we want to move and we want to throw weights and whatever. And sometimes that actually raises the cortisol levels.
Yeah.
Stretching.
Yoga.
Do
that.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then resting when you can, even if you're not sleeping.
Yes.
You can't sleep.
Yes.
Just moments of allowing your body to be still. If you can, allow your eyes to close, and just, again, maybe put a little breathing in with that, just to calm as much as you can, and without having unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
Of high performance during a brutal.
I am going to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Last, the 7 points is to challenge self-blame.
This one's tough.
It's tough, and it's super common to blame yourself at this stage. But even if your marriage was bad, it was not the right choice for the betrayer to go outside the marriage
Yes.
with those as an outlet or some kind of resource or a way to medicate those problems. So self-blame is easy here. And it's a bit of a battle, but just saying things like their choices are their responsibility. They have to own what they chose. They have to own what they did.
Yeah. Yeah. They need to own it. It's their responsibility. Why might someone blame themselves? Like, how might it be helpful in the moment? Or what might it be doing for them?
I think often it's an attempt for us to take power back for ourselves, for Linda.
Yes.
If I screwed up, I can fix it. But if you screwed up and you did this thing for months,
I'm stuck.
What do I have to do?
Yes. Okay, that's powerful, right? You can have so much compassion for that.
Yeah.
When it's like an attempt just to get some control back in my life.
Because this thing that has happened to you has made you feel profoundly out of control.
Yes.
Yeah. There's also the deception part of this too, Rolinda. So people blame themselves for not knowing, for not seeing the signs. It kind of comes back to what we were saying, how could I have been such a fool? How did I miss this? That kind of language, right? But if you were actually deceived, you couldn't know. That's the truth. If you were deceived, that's what deceit is.
Yeah.
If you were deceived, you couldn't know. So, of course you didn't know. Of course you didn't know. And how brutal it must be for someone to have done things without telling you and hiding them, and all the while just letting you think it was okay, like things were okay between you, or that their commitments to you were intact.
No wonder your world just shattered.
Yes.
Yeah.
So part of this self-blame is really just naming their actions and behaviors here, and repeating that to yourself. Even it's not your worth here that should be examined or at stake. You deserved to be lived with integrity, even if you were struggling in your part of the marriage.
Yeah.
The right response would have been, let's get some help. Not let's go outside the marriage for any reason. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. Yeah.
It's not, because you're not worth it.
Yeah.
They chose these actions.
Yes. You deserve to be lived with integrity. For sure. Let's talk about getting some professional help here, Verlinda.
Okay.
So
some people might not have anybody else to talk to.
Yes. If you really can't find someone, or it's going to take you a while to sort that out, or whatever, there are therapists that specialize in betrayal trauma, and there are therapists that specialize in working with betrayed partners as well. And quite often in this phase, so we run a counseling agency, and this is an area of specialty for us, is infidelity recovery for couples, or treatment for betrayers and treatment for betrayed people. Okay. So we're not implying the couple has to recover by saying that. I'm just saying it's an option. But people often come to us for couples therapy. And we appreciate that. It's great. But in these moments, we actually want to start with individual therapy, because the betraying partner has to do the work to understand what was going on inside them that led them to make a choice that was really against their own core values, or their values that they thought they had when they pause and think about what's important to them. So we often see quite a bit of remorse. It's a different situation when you don't see remorse, of course. But in the cases where we see remorse, it's important for them to understand that. And usually this is about unaddressed childhood wounds and something like that. And some of that wounding has now leaked out in a way that has profoundly injured a betrayed partner. And we want to help this betraying partner to heal those wounds so that they can, with some degree of confidence, bring themselves back to the marriage should they wish to continue, or at least bring themselves to the rest of their life with the knowledge that they can be a person who lives in a committed monogamous relationship with the ability to maintain fidelity in that relationship. And so that, it's a chance for some great healing work to happen.
Yeah. And the other side of it, like betrayed spouses, helping them understand and process the trauma response that their body's having, and trust in themselves again.
Yeah.
And differentiating between, knowing something's wrong and having a trauma response.
Yes.
And how can I know I'm safe?
Yeah.
And
for sure. So just talk to me or talk to our audience about this for Linda. Like, quite often too, there's like well, you were unfaithful, you need to get help, which is true.
Yes.
But what's the risk with that approach?
Yeah. Well, just to normalize it for a minute, like, I got hurt. This was not my fault. And now I have to do the work to repair it. And that's not fair. And no, it's not fair, because it is their responsibility.
They caused the trauma.
They caused it. They caused the pain. And now you're having to deal with it. And that's actually where things are at. You have had a massive amount of pain. You've had this betrayal. You've had your trust shattered. And now, like, it's on you to do the work to find healing. And as unfair as it is, like, I feel the anger in me.
There is a huge unfairness thing to this.
Like, it's a huge unfairness. And to get past it, whether you remain in the relationship or don't remain in the relationship, healing needs to take place.
Yeah. That's bang on for Linda. And one of the ways that I think of this is, like, these behaviors can cause the trauma.
Yes.
But the stopping of these behaviors, like your spouse becomes faithful, doesn't heal the trauma. And that sucks. That sucks. But this is why we urge betrayed partners to seek healing as well, because your spouse can actually do the work to heal the part of themselves that led them to betray you, and they can become a person of, like, much more profound integrity, much more relational capacity with you. But if your trauma remains unaddressed in your body and unresolved in your body, it may always maintain that protective wall that doesn't let that new version of your spouse in.
Yeah.
And so we want to say this with a great deal of compassion, because you didn't sign up for this. You didn't ask for this. You didn't do the wrong, but you've been tasked now with healing work, which, again, you didn't ask for. Unfair, but there's really just important, like, I really want people to know that a partner becoming faithful doesn't heal the damage of unfaithfulness.
Yes. Yes.
Sad but true.
Sad but true. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So professional guides, and let me just say this, look for counselors who understand betrayal trauma. If you're on the betrayed side, look for counselors that have a trauma modality, that actually know how to treat trauma. A lot of counselors say trauma informed these days.
Yes.
And there's no qualification that you have to achieve to put that on your bio page on your counseling website. Okay. So some people, when they say trauma informed, they're understating their great abilities to treat trauma. And other people, when they're saying trauma informed, they might have realized that was a good keyword to have on their page. And maybe they read Bessel van der Kolk's book or something like that. And they actually don't know how to help you process the betrayal trauma. So just have a little bit of scrutiny when you're choosing someone. Like, we have members of our team, several of them that have trauma modalities, that have extensive experience working with betrayed partners. That's what you're looking for. If you're the betrayed partner of a sex addict, you may actually want to seek out a certified partner betrayal trauma therapist, something like that.
Really? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a thing for
the partners of sex addicts.
Yeah. Well, there's extensive ongoing infidelity, and you can find those folks on itap.com, I think is the website that's where they register.
Okay.
But in many cases, just a therapist who understands betrayal trauma is fine. You don't need to go super high level unless you've had very extensive trauma from extensive amounts of betrayal.
Okay.
And then usually couples therapy follows after some of that trauma work is resolved and some of your betraying partner has, like, been able to articulate how they got themselves to where they did and why they did the things they did. Like, they're owning it. There's no more denial. All the truth is out, that kind of stuff. So that's a little bit more long-term. Just let's wrap up, Verlinda. Back to the first few days, just some gentle reminders to close. And then first steps.
I think gentle is a key word there,
Yeah.
right? Like, expect the emotional waves.
Yeah.
They're going to come. It's not like healing is going in one direction. It's going to be up. It's going to be down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sometimes use the analogy of like the old car speedometers where the needle flickers quite a bit, but you're just kind of watching for it trending in the right direction.
I think you just aged yourself there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. It was somebody else's car.
And be patient with yourself. Like, there's no timeline of when you're going to be healed.
Yeah.
Triggers come. Allow yourself that time and that space. Be gentle.
Yeah.
Compassion.
Self-compassion. So treat yourself with kindness and understanding during this period as much as you're able. That's a good thing to do. That's how you help yourself emotionally survive something like this, is just to say, put your hand on your chest. This is really hard. This is too much. I never should have had to have gone through this. Other people have made it through. I'm hopeful that I can too.
Yeah.
So just that kind, gentle moments like that. Meditate if it helps. Pray if it helps. Mindfulness if that helps you.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
And even in all these moments, like, acknowledge your strength.
Yeah.
Facing this takes courage, like vast amounts of courage. And every small step is resilience.
Yeah.
Like, you made it through a day. You made it through a night. You ate a meal.
Yeah. And you can do that another day.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So acknowledge the little strengths that you have that maybe you didn't even know you had, or you can't even see in the moment.
It's good.
Yeah.
And then concluding thoughts for Linda, just first steps. This is a devastating moment to discover or have something disclosed to you, of course. And that happens in a moment, although it may take several of those moments if the disclosure is staggered. We don't know exactly how that can go. That's not ideal. But it's the betrayed side of this. You don't always have the choice of how it gets discovered or disclosed, of course. But healing is a process that takes time.
Yes.
So the devastation can come quite quickly and suddenly, but healing is a journey.
Yeah.
So just recognizing that.
And you're not alone in it. Like, many people have found healing.
Yeah.
And many relationships have been restored.
Yeah.
Many have not.
Yes. So just knowing that others have gone through it can help.
Yeah.
And the little things that we've mentioned, like Verlinda said, just having a meal, that's an act of courage. So remembering that. And then being gentle with yourself. It's okay to act in ways that are self-preserving to create safety and to have self-compassion for how hard this is for you right now. Of course, it's hard for you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening. We appreciate that. You can get the full write-up for this on our website at therapevo.com/285. And thanks for listening.